Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Monday, July 17th, 2023. Hadn't made a live in a little while, but absolutely had to make one today so I can own this big fucking L that I took today on AT&T stock. Super proud to say that when I buy stuff, buy stocks, real estate, whatever, you guys are going to hear the good and the bad and the ugly. And today was absolutely ugly. I would say I single-handedly tanked AT&T stock. Like whoever's out there who owns AT&T stock prior to June 1st, that's when I first bought it. And then I bought more shares a couple times along the way, most recently today. I'll explain that in a minute. But if you owned AT&T prior to June 1st, you can direct your ire squarely towards me because I tanked your stock. I fucking tanked it. So basically, guys, I came into AT&T, I think in the 15s. I don't remember the exact number. I bought it at 15 and change, something like that. Maybe close to 16, but somewhere around there. And, it was kind of chugging along. It was actually had some nice up days. Really didn't care. Was here for, and still am, here for the dividend and just the boring old value stock called AT&T. A company that's been around 150 years, paying a 7% dividend that was priced at $15. I couldn't resist. That's the kind of stock that I want to own for 20, 30, 40 years. And so that's what the intention was for it. And that's what the intention always was for it. So anyway, that's how I got into it. That's where I started off with it. And interestingly, it started going up pretty early in the time that I owned it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to catch a little appreciation here right away. But the whole thing turned on this, and I was just barely following it, guys. It didn't even mean anything to me the day I first saw the headline. But this whole thing of these lead cables that were discovered in the ocean or somewhere that are toxic, something like that. Something not good. Certainly not, not anything to be dismissive of. And I'm only laughing because it's kind of a morbid, impact on my stock portfolio. But the greater good here is being impacted by these lead cables that are toxic. And so anyway, the bottom line is AT&T has liability on these things, supposedly. And so that, and I believe combined with, I read an article about why it got downgraded. It's been downgraded twice now. Got downgraded last week, I think on Friday, when I really bought in. I bought another 200 shares of it on Friday when it went down 4% on this news about this this liability, and an analyst downgraded it. And then on that day, I believe sometime during Friday, I read the article about wasn't just the lead cables, it was also a low accounting, they didn't add as many accounts as they thought they would, or that analysts hoped they would, something like that. So anyway, so bad news there. I buy in another 200 shares on Friday, the 14th, and I'm like, oh, I caught a nice dip here. I got in, 4% below or whatever, the price going into the day. And then, sure enough, look at the portfolio again today. And my goodness, down another, at the end of the day, I think it was down 6.7% or something like that. Hovering near 7%, right? Just absolute disaster if you had a short-term trading outlook on AT&T. 4% on Friday, 6.7% today, just brutal. The stock is in the 13s now or something like that. And so I could only afford to buy 10 more shares. So I just bought 10 more shares just to top off at 360 shares. Loving the 7+% dividend still. But yeah, stock is getting absolutely pounded. But here's the takeaway, guys. Here's why you don't see me on a rooftop ledge or something like that. Is that I don't care. I truly don't care. I'm making this video because that's partly what I want to convey. And then I partly want to be very transparent. If I've mentioned, I think the policy is if I've mentioned a stock to you guys, hey, I bought this stock or whatever, then I'm going to report on both when it does really well and when it does really bad. because I really don't. First of all, nobody should be taking any stock advice from me. I am not an investment advisor. I am not a stock advisor. I have no idea what I'm doing. But you say, well, why are you buying stocks? Why are you doing it? What's the deal here? The reason, guys, is that I just flat out don't have any plans to sell anything. I plan to hold these stocks either literally forever and pass them on to the next generation, at like a step-up basis kind of play. Or if something really rocketed to the moon and I knew I had another investment priority waiting in the wings, like there was a duplex I wanted to buy, there was a fourplex, there was something in another, or I don't know. I doubt this would happen, but maybe if I thought another stock was more worthy of the investment at that point and I wanted to pull some profit, then maybe on the off chance I would sell. Let's say, let me paint an exemplary picture of that. Let's say, bought into AT&T now, dollar cost average into it somewhere like the 14 to 15 range. Let's say 5 years from now, AT&T is $100 a share, right? And I've made tens of thousands of dollars from it. Then I might say, okay, you know what? Luck is going to run out soon on this. I actually could put this money to good use on something else. I could actually make it work harder and better somewhere else. Now I'm going to sell off, take it, and go do that. But that's, that's very unlikely compared to scenario number one. So when you have scenario number one going for you, like, hey, I'm going to hold these stocks until I die, and I don't care what happens to them, then the only thing that really matters here is that AT&T doesn't become a penny stock that doesn't pay a dividend, or, in all seriousness, that it doesn't cut its dividend to nothing, or it doesn't, get delisted and, go to rock bottom or some crazy thing like that. Could a company like AT&T go down the shitter? Yeah, it could. You know what I mean? There's no scenario that I'll completely rule out. But being that it's been around for 150, 200 years, and it just seems wildly underpriced for such a massive, telecom giant, I just really doubt it. I just think the stock is, it's a bargain. It's a bargain buy. It's just in the basement bin somewhere, right now. You can buy a 7% dividend for $13 a share. My cell phone plan is on AT&T. The whole family's is. I just don't really expect AT&T to go away. I just don't. And so, and so that's the deal, right? That's why I'm still in it. That's why I got into it in the first place. And that's why I don't care about days like today. And I got to tell you guys, if you've been following me on this stock thing, you know that there was some trepidation. I thought about this. I gnashed teeth about it. I kind of got back and forth in my head about it because I'm really not a stock guy. I kind of exited in 2015 and forgot all about it. But I said to myself, if I come back in June, I came back in on June 1st, and I start getting obsessive about daily price movements, and I start, losing my shit at significant daily price movements, whether up or down, then I know I effed up because that's not where I need to be. If I'm watching it that closely and feeling anything from it, then it was a mistake to come back in. And I'm happy to report that I don't feel anything about it. Watching the portfolio go down a massive percent today, compared to most days, and watching AT&T in particular tank today the way it did, it just, honestly, it was a curiosity. I kept up with it because I want to know what's going on with my portfolio. I don't want to check out on the portfolio and come back in 10 years kind of thing. I want to be involved and engaged. But it didn't make me feel panic. It didn't make me feel bad. It didn't make me feel like I made the wrong decision. I feel very strongly about it being the right decision for a lot of other factors: pricing, share accumulation, dividend, steadiness, history of the company, things like that. And those things don't change. And I think, when they don't change and you have conviction going into it, it doesn't matter. You don't sit there and feel like, like you did make a mistake or anything like that. And when you buy and hold for 2, 3, 4 decades or till death do us part, you really don't care. So that's where I am with it, guys. Just want to check in with you on that. And would love to hear your thoughts on that stock or anything else going on with the markets right now. Just as we, kind of trudge along through the summer and see what happens with this whole recession business and stuff like that. So definitely let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment, question below. Would love to hear from you. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great night.